I'm Richard and I'm going to be saying how a treehouse of horror could work in the Simpsons cinematic universe. If they do a spoof on Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet and Space Jam 2 A New Legacy, you could also use it to spoof Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Itch and Scratchy characters, with Homer taking a case in order to clear Itch and Scratch's name, and you take advantage of the Simpsons being bought out by Disney. You can also use it to make fun of Disney's big fails like Lightyear and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and them making fun of it and saying how they should have made it more like the cartoon shows. Then you would be able to do a bunch of spoofs and cameos of either Warner Bros. And Disney characters. And it would be a good change that while still sticking true to the original, complimenting Warner Bros. While still insulting Disney. You can also use spoofing all the Universal monsters to bring back all the other Treehouse of Horror spoofs. And you should also do a Treehouse of Horror spoof on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Krusty would be Art the Clown, the leader of the evil clowns, with horror clowns attacking Springfield. They did do everything else attacking in Springfield in the other Treehouse of Horror spoofs. And they did recently have an episode that has something to do with Krusty doing a clown college, and why it being so good then continuing on the clown legacy. So it would be a perfect time for them to do a Treehouse of Horror spoof on one of the most iconic evil clown movies. And by you doing another evil clown as their leader, it would be good because of Krusty being their show's main clown, so it's showing how good Krusty is than all the other clowns. On occasion they do so, there being more than one clown in Springfield, so it would be perfect for them doing it here. You could do some time introducing them like how you did with the original and clowns from the original movie. Then you would do the Killer Clowns from Outer Space music video of all the iconic scenes from the movie, but it being a Simpsons spoof of it. Then you do the ending of them defeating the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And species that just happens to look like clowns, and with King and Kotis in charge of the invasion, and it also being King and Kotis' favorite show, with it being in plans for years because of it also being Bart's favorite show on Earth, the Krusty Show. Homer would rise the townspeople up against the clowns, and Bart would be one of the main characters because of him knowing how to fight against the clowns. And if they're managing to make dolphins scary, they can make clowns scary. Because the Simpsons are really good at doing things with clowns, there would be a great way for them to do some clown ways to kill people here, and them using the usual things that comes with being a clown as weapons against people. And they did already make Krusty Pennywise the dancing clown, so this would be good too because of it being similar to it. And it would be another obvious good thing for them to do with Krusty and the Treehouse of Horror spoof, because of him already being a clown in the show and clowns being a common fear among people. And if you make Krusty Art the Clown, it would show how murderous he would be and how much of a leader out of the other clowns he is. And you being able to do a Treehouse of Horror spoof on more than one horror type of clown. And you'd also have to do this since Killer Clowns from Outer Space wasn't the best movie, but it is one of the best clown horror movies, and it is also a beloved movie. So you would also need to do this to put in a little extra in there just to make sure it's doing good. So if they manage to make Krusty a character and made him Pennywise the dancing clown, it would be no problem for us to buy him as Art the Clown as the leader of a bunch of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So it would be a good way to use Krusty with him being another iconic horror movie clown, but also you being able to do him as more than one iconic horror movie clown, and it being the most iconic ones. The most iconic ones after Pennywise anyways. It would be a good way for them to use King and Kotis, and it goes along with the usual way they're portrayed anyways in the show. They should also do a Treehouse of Horror spoof of Cthulhu, where Bart races around with the Necronomicon, and they should also do it with Slender Man in there. Because Cthulhu already appeared in the show before, and there being so much fan art of the Slender Man and into the Simpsons fan base, it's really good, and everyone liking the Simpsons creators giving so much respect to their fans recently. You can just do Slender Man being one of Cthulhu's monsters, and Homer and Lisa just running into him one night, which leads up to them finding the rest of Cthulhu. And with Bart finding out it being because of him messing with the Necronomicon and him needing to use the Necronomicon to get rid of the Cthulhu entity and not just Slender Man. The Slenderman can even fall in love with the grown-up version of Lisa because of there being fan art about that and that being one of the best fan art. And it would be a good way for Lisa to go against the Slenderman specifically. Then you can even make a sequel to one of the openings of the Treehouse of Horror specials. From eating Cthulhu and Lisa getting powers from the radiation from my family members. If they're not becoming monsters, but there is need to deal with it.
Well, my dad didn't eat breakfast.
Uh-oh.
How you doing, Cthulhu?
Shut up, okay? Just shut up. I need to take a walk, that's all. I'll be fine.
I win, and I get to name the prize.
Fine. I'll give you whatever you want. Immortal life, whale watching where you actually see a whale.
I know exactly what I want. I want to eat you.
If them needing to go back to the same dimension Cthulhu is from because of them having the same powers as Cthulhu and it being a side effect of it, but them managing to make it, them being able to stay in their dimension and then still being able to keep the powers from Cthulhu. You can even make King and Kotos one of Cthulhu's monsters and it being a part of King and Kotos' plans to invade Earth. It would go perfectly with King and Kotos because of them already looking like Cthulhu because of them both having tentacles and also because of them both being cosmic horror. So it'd be a perfect way to combine both of them of the horrors of Lovecraft and the Simpsons. And because of them having the time of a whole movie to do their Treehouse of Horror spoofs, you can use it to do a Treehouse of Horror spoof on more than one thing at a time, with all of it being in one story, like Wendell and Wild, or the Addams Family and the Monsters, Disney's The Shadow King, Beetlejuice, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Eckenstein, Tuttenstein, Growing Up Creepy, and Disney's Gargoyles. For you doing Wendell and Wild parts of things, you can have Snake, Jailbird, and Sideshow Bob as Wendell and Wild stuck in an underworld prison in hell. For doing some crimes even to a demon. And then we get some help from Homer, who would also be there for another supernatural crime, but Homer being framed by it by them. Homer would only do it so he can get out of the underworld prison and for him to be able to see his kids again, and because him wanting to get out of a hell prison. Homer would get his revenge for those guys framing him for it, but he would also help them get out of there because of the hell prison being so bad and because of them helping him get out of it. And the only reason why he would help them get out is because Sideshow Bob doesn't want to kill Bart anymore, and him being friends with Saint Jailbird and both of them having a family. So they would definitely want to see them again, like how Homer wants to see his family again, and also because Homer also needs their help to get out, but then also Bart and Lisa would try to help get Homer out. Because Homer thinking he definitely doesn't deserve to be there since he didn't actually do the crime anyways. Since Snake, Jailbird, and Sideshow Bob are the biggest criminals in The Simpsons, it would be easy for them to be Wendell and Wild. And they are already friends in The Simpsons anyways. It turned out Snake, Jailbird, and Sideshow Bob would have a clue that would bring people back to life, and them using it to bring back everyone who died in The Simpsons. And Lisa would be connected to it by her magic powers. And it would turn out that Sideshow Bob and Snake would use The Simpsons' dead characters to fight against the devil. So you now undo all the character development Sideshow Bob had over the years, as even in the Treehouse of Horror spoofs, because that being one of the best things about the modern Simpsons, people are finally growing out of their things, and Sideshow Bob finally mending his relationship with Bart. Because of the devil wanting to take Homer and the other guys back to the hell prison, because of them breaking out of it, but Homer and the other guys wouldn't want to go back there because of it being a hell prison. Then you do a joke about it still being better than school, and even that's not a strong enough way to describe how bad school is. Then you'd see Bart and Lisa having a hard time just being with Marge because of Grandpa dying and Homer being there, but it would be good when Homer comes back there, and them using the Grandpa coming back to life for a chance for them to say goodbye. This would honor the dead Simpsons characters like Maude, Annette's second wife. It would go along with The Simpsons as being more modern in the modern seasons, without you messing with the continuity of The Simpsons. And after them defeating the devil with the zombie army would go back to being dead, and the devil would let them all come back to life. Homer, aside so Bob and Snake Jailbird, I mean. The other kids from the Winter and Wild movie would be the other Springfield kids I already mentioned before, with Millhouse being Lisa's friend at prison that you send your kids to even if they've been good, and that all kids go to, even when them knowing it being bad, because of their parents and their parents not listening to them, and it even being worse than a prison in super duper hell, and even that's not strong enough word to describe how bad school is. In fact, the kids themselves doing a joke about that specifically in it, because of them being kids facing the actual horrors. And the other kids would be the other rich, popular, but lately privileged girls from the Winter and Wild movie. But would also try to prove to Lisa that he can do shadow puppets, and them also need to deal with the boogeyman because of him doing shadow puppets. And them defeating the boogeyman by using Bart's shadow puppets, and it just being hard for Bart to do shadow puppets because of his disfigured fingers, which he would have from his suit-shifting powers. With you doing a joke about him just not being able to change them back specifically because of them and being tied in a knot a bunch of times because of his suit-shifting powers. And with the Simpsons trying very hard to hide Bart's disfigured fingers, and them doing a joke about that being the only thing them keeping secret, but them needing to because of them being so hideous. But then after Bart exposing his disfigured fingers, then finding out it being good him having disfigured fingers. With Bart thinking it being cool, but him only keeping it secret because he does admit how hideous they are. And you just doing a joke, it just being when them being tied in a knot because of his suit-shifting powers, but it also being because of him not getting them tied in a knot when him using his suit-shifting powers anymore, in general, these days. Like in the Shadow King, and also because of Lisa already being hard on Bart all the time. But it's also good in Bart and Lisa working together for something, and you can also use it to make fun of Disney for throwing away a great idea, and for them totally ripping off the creator of it. Barney would be the guy living at the hotel, and the crazy cat lady would be the crazy old woman from the Shadow King, and you can just make it the hotel being a part of Barney's Ballorama. As a plan for them to get more customers for both the hotel and Barney's Ballorama, and Mr. Burns is convincing Barney to go along with it. And they did already mention the boogeyman in another episode of The Simpsons, so this would be a good way to have the Simpsons version of the boogeyman. And because of them already doing Santa and the physical embodiment of death in The Simpsons, they would need to do the boogeyman too. Because of him being another one of the most iconic made-up guys, and this is a grown-up show, cartoon, but it is for Bart and Lisa, and The Simpsons is a family show for the whole family too. That's why The Simpsons is being better than the other terrible grown-up shows, because of The Simpsons not being ignoble R-rated like them. And also because The Simpsons kind of creating it being the original one, and because of it not just being that, it also being heartwarming and dealing with serious issues. And it being especially good if you compare it to the other garbage grown-up cartoon shows. Especially if you realize them being a better family than the other guys combined too anyways. Frankly, it's good The Simpsons will go on forever, because since it's been on for so long, that means it can resonate with you so much more, and it just is really being even more true than saying these things about them. It also being able to connect with you better, and it just being able to be so much better at having more of an effect on you. And the boogeyman would need to be Mr. Burns, because he was already called the boogeyman's grandfather in another episode. For you spoofing the Addams Family and the monsters, you need to do a combination of both of them, with both Homer and Marge being a combination of both of the parents from both the Addams Family and the monsters. And it being a combination of the original version of the monsters and the Addams Family, with it also being a combination of the modern version of the monsters with the 3D version of the Addams Family with the Addams Family from the Wednesday show. So you combine all the best parts of them with all the best versions of them. The kids would be a combination of both of the kids from the monsters and the Addams Family, but each one of them would be combined with another iconic monster character from another form of media, for them to be original and them spoofing them, and for them to be able to spoof more of other kind of horror characters at a time. I know The Simpsons already spoofed the Addams Family and the monsters before, but they only did for a treehouse opening of it, and only for the cover of one of their DVD covers. So this way they wouldn't and spoof them the same way as the last time, and this way they would actually be able to do a Simpsons spoof on them, with them also being more original on how them spoofing them. This is something that fans have been wanting the Treehouse of Horror spoofs to do for quite a while now. Thus, the Simpsons would be perfect for it because of them being a family like the Addams Family and the Monsters, and Marge and Homer would be perfect for their parents specifically because of them being the parents of this family, like how the parents of the Addams Family and the Monsters are the parents of their families. But it would be Beetlejuice, because he would be perfect for Beetlejuice because of them both liking gross things. And people have been wanting the Simpsons to spoof Beetlejuice for quite a while now, there even being a bunch of fan art of it on the internet. But it would also be combined with the two sons from the Addams Family and the Monsters, with him using his powers to prank other people in Springfield, and him also setting up a business for it, him haunting people's houses, just them needing to say his name 3 times. He would do some jokes out of saying it 3 times, but Bart would get around it and him planning ahead for it, with him just as using it as a stage name, Beetlejuice, because of him also using it to prank other people that way too. With him also eating big greasy fast food candy things that are also meaty and sugary. And the only gross thing about them is him not just putting beetles in it, him also putting slime, rotting corpses and bugs in them, with his own snot. To go over Beetlejuice's love of eating beetles, and for him knowing so many ways to eat beetles, and with Bart's usual style of being gross, and him and his usual style of loving gross things. If you just need to make it Simpsons food, him eating with some other Simpsons and his characters that have already been dead for a while now, watching corpse, it's him eating. And to go with what happened in the movie with you needing to summon in Beetlejuice by saying his name 3 times to haunt a place. And with it just as being a part of Beetlejuice in general for you needing to say his name 3 times. So it would be a good way for the Simpsons to do some jokes about a bunch of those things, and to do a good job spoofing them and to put a Simpsons spin on it, and it being perfect for a Treehouse of Horror spoof in general specifically too. The Simpsons twins Sherry and Carrie would be Edgar and Alan, because since the Simpsons spoof Harry Potter the book so much, and they already did a spoof on Edgar Allan Poe's work The Raven, and it being one of the most iconic Treehouse of Horror episodes, you would need to do it to honor that episode and Edgar Allan Poe in general for doing that episode. With you doing it based on the cartoon show and the books, like how they did with the Harry Potter books and the movies. Sherry and Carrie would be perfect for it because of them already being the twins of the Simpsons, and you just adding in a horror theme there. This would be Tyson to go along with them spoofing Edgar and Alan, and because of him being both a Frankenstein and a mummy, he would go perfect with Bart's Beetlejuice. Lisa's best friend would be growing up creepy just to go with the horror theme, and just to make fun of Disney for there being other channels that have better shows than them. And the only reason why the Simpsons are so good is because of them not being their eternal slaves like how they do with Fox. With you also spoofing Disney's gargoyles with them being Homer and Marge's friends, just to make fun of Disney for getting rid of a perfectly good show and for them not knowing what is good. They could also make fun of it for being a dark show from Disney, and because it being weird such a dark show came from Disney. And Gargoyles was well known for having a lot of Star Trek actors as their voice actors, and Gargoyles was as one of the darkest shows in general, so it would be good for the Simpsons to spoof that too, and to go along with them spoofing the other things before that I mentioned. So it would be Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I would go with the version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch from the Netflix show, because of that one having the most of something to do with horror and that one fitting Lisa the most. Because Lisa would be good at casting spells, she does already have something to do with magic, she does already have something to do with witches specifically. You can even make it even more of a Simpsons spoof by her being a Wiccan, so it being a callback to some other episodes when it having it in there. And also it going well because of Sabrina being a good person who just happens to be a witch, and with Lisa already being a good person and out of the Simpsons family. Casper the Friendly Ghost, because of Casper being so iconic in horror and in animation in general. And he is from Hanna-Barbera, and the Simpsons are known for spoofing Hanna-Barbera because of the Simpsons being inspired by the Flintstones and the Jetsons. But unlike with Family Guy and American Dad, the Simpsons are completely original from the Flintstones and the Jetsons, with them being set in modern times, and with them actually honoring the thing that inspired them. Plus, Maggie would be perfect for Casper because of the way she looks. And Casper is well known in horror and in animation in general because of him being a ghost, also he just happens to be a kid, and him being a friendly ghost. And he was actually a nice guy, so he would be perfect for Maggie, who is often known as one of the sweetest members of the Simpsons family. Then you would also do a Treehouse of Horror spoof on that movie where a girl gets stuck underground with a serial killer, but her surviving because of her best friend seeing it on the news and telling her about it, so her being one step ahead of him. It is similar to Saw, and The Simpsons has done some things that were similar to Saw, and then even doing a whole Treehouse of Horror spoof on it. It would be different and original enough that it wouldn't be a cheap knockoff of it. It's still being a good movie for it to spoof on its own and for it to be spoofing that movie specifically. And so would be the one stuck underground with a serial killer, which would be Sideshow Bob to get to Bart. And because of it being a Treehouse of Horror spoof, it wouldn't undo all the character development Bob has over the years, because of it being out of continuity storyline. And Milhouse would be the one telling her how to survive because of him being in love with her. And you would also spoof the ending of the main character saying, and the only reason why I survived was because my best friend was seeing it on the news and telling me how to stay ahead of it. With Lisa saying, the only reason why I survived is because a nerd that was in love with me saw TV on it, and called me up and texted me what happened in it. Bachman would be the news reporter reporting it, and we did also see a bunch of the news in Springfield over the years, and we also saw them doing some different things with the news in Springfield recently. And it'd also be good you doing a Treehouse of Horror spoof on the horror movie War. About a horror movie about a teenage vegetarian girl who is orphaned and on the street and finds out how good meat tastes, and then her becoming a cannibal. Then we're doing episodes and it already being well known that Lisa being a vegetarian in The Simpsons. And there was already a Treehouse of Horror spoof where Homer eats himself, but that was more of a spoof on cannibalism in general. Well, this would be more about you spoofing a specific movie in general about cannibalism and it being with a vegetarian specifically. Because it would just have more effect on people if it was Lisa, because of her being a vegetarian, it being well known her being a vegetarian in The Simpsons, and one of the only good people in Springfield and in The Simpsons family. If they're actually not acknowledging how shocking it is Lisa, of all people, a vegetarian becoming a cannibal, and her being such a good person too. With Homer and Bart finally getting it into meat, then her accidentally eating someone, and from a rotting corpse that just flew into her mouth when Mr. Ben's classes caught into a police car and then paid them off so they wouldn't tell anyone about it. Then her only going after terrible people who would be their neighbors in Springfield. Then she would eat the people of Springfield, and then the people of Springfield being surprised about her eating and cannibalizing the people of Springfield.